able to paint. So that's why I brought the compressor and the paint gun, and you can spray over some paint, and eventually you can put the varnish, of course.
So we should also cover the logos. And
you should, if we paint, we have to cover the logo because the paint is spraying a bit on the side. And if you don't want to sand the logo, it's perfect. Like for example here, if it's no scratch on the logo, you just don't put the sandpaper on the logo and it's perfectly fine. Okay.
What about the direction when you're sanding? Is it important or doesn't it?
Yeah. So usually, so to get more into these technical details now, we have different kinds of problems on the foil. So we have the basic scratches, these ones, that you can feel, but they are not too big. So those ones, basically we want to be able to sand in circular shape, and maybe sometime from time to time we actually go especially in the same direction than the scratch, and this will help it to make it disappear very fast. If the scratch is way, there is not here.
Yeah, here. This one is a big hole.
Yeah, well, if the scratch is very huge, we want to use UV resin to first cover it, so to reduce the thickness of the depth of the hole, because if we take off too much material, then we're gonna arrive to the carbon or eventually even to the core, and it's gonna take a lot of time. So basically, if there is a bigger scratch, you can cover it with the UV resin. You can make it dry in just a few seconds, and then you can dry it, you can sand it in a way that it's uniform again, the surface. So for this, it's good to use the flat object to be able to make it very nice shape. But even by hand, you can actually already feel it. So the other kind of scratches, but it's a bit more similar, is the leading edge scratches, like the impacts. So for this is the same. For the leading edge, you might want to, if they are really deep, you might want to use resin together with micro balloons and a bit of paint maybe. So the micro balloons is a powder that you mix with the resin, and it makes the resin thicker and stronger. So you can use a bit of tape. So when I do this, generally what I do is I'm here, for example, I will put some tape to protect a bit the foil. So let's say it's like this. You will use paper tape. And with doing this, basically you make sure that the resin that is going to be becoming very thick after you add the micro balloons still doesn't fall around. So the resin will stay here, and after it's dried, you can basically sand it again. But this is the way to repair the bigger leading edge impacts. For the trailing edge, it's the same. So for the trailing edge, if you have really a big impact that goes in by a lot, you can simply cover with tape. You can put the resin wherever you need, and then you can sand it again when it's over. So these are basically all the big scratch that you want to repair. The only scratches, I don't even call them scratches, that you cannot repair are the delamination. So if the foil is broken for any reason, that the carbon is fractured, it's basically broken and it's not easy to repair. You will spend a lot of time on it, and the result is not gonna be very nice, in a way that it's very likely to break again. So the carbon, I always say it's a big shell, and if it breaks in one place, the shell will never be, you will need to put another shell all the way to make it strong again. But if you just put a patch of carbon on top, this is not gonna hold. It's not gonna make it work. It's broken from the inside. So if your foil is delaminated, the carbon is really fractured, there is no way to repair it properly.
Is this also if you have it in front?
In front you can
scratch here.
In front it's not the same. You can actually, even if it starts to crack and open on the edge, you can repair this.
Okay.
You with resin and micro balloon, the resin is actually gonna pour in and it's gonna be very strong. The problem is more towards, like for example, on your fuselage or towards the connection. If it starts to break here, then even if you put patch, it might hold longer, but you will spend a lot of time, and the result is not gonna be like so strong for the future.
So if that happens, would you actually use another layer on
So
carbon or something?
what I do, if it happens for like my foil that I have the molds with, I will simply put again the foil in the mold with a lot of carbon on top to repair it this way. And if you put all a new shell, it's gonna be strong again. But if you only put a small patch, it's not gonna work.
Okay.
So basically, if you have a foil that is not easy to recondition to the producer, I don't see many ways to repair it. So that's why when a foil is broken or a board is broken, many brands ask to actually completely break it. So that's why it's sure that there is no problem if there is resale after and stuff like this. Okay.
If you like repair it a couple of times and you sand and you get into the fibers, what do you
So
do
it's
with the sand?
totally fine to get into the fiber. Maybe today we will get into a bit of the fiber.
Here you got into the, I think here we even went to the core on one end here. It went onto the core.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, here. You see?
It
This
got
is like the
broken.
foam inside, huh?
So here you can just put resin again
Yeah.
and micro balloon, and it's gonna be perfectly fine.
Yeah. And if you like sand the whole surface, what do you do to not?
It's
If you do
it's
it a
perfectly
couple of
fine
times.
to arrive to the carbon.
Yeah.
It's not gonna change so many things. So I don't speak for all the brands. I don't know especially the layout of all the brands. But here, for example, there is about 6 layers on each side,
Yeah.
6 and 6. So if you arrive on the finish layer and you send a bit of the carbon, it's gonna take maybe 1% of the performance of the stiffness. So it's more important actually to have a surface that is smooth and that you arrive a bit to the carbon. It's not at all a problem.
But then you just put varnish and
Yeah.
all good.
So you do your stuff, you do your nice flat surface, everything is smooth, and then you just put the varnish again and the paint,
Yeah.
if you want paint.
Yeah.
Okay. You have the question?
Yes, what kind of repair requires the use of carbon fibers?
So basically, where I will use carbon fiber would be for a mast foot. So I don't know if I have a mast here. Yeah, I have one there.
Here's a mast here.
Yeah, this one, perfect. So in the case that for any reason this will start to break here, I could place some patches of carbon around it, and I could put it in a fuselage, and when it's dry, it's gonna be very strong again. The fuselage, of course, you need to put some wax on it. Some, yeah, are you familiar with wax? It's fine. It's just a kind of varnish, like let's say varnish thing that you buy, and you just make it wet.
It's wax.
Yeah, wax.
Like hair wax.
No, you can have it
like
with
candle
air.
wax.
Candy
Like,
wax.
Candle. You
Candle
can have
wax.
It, air, but it's, most of the time is just something that you make a fat. It's like a fat.
Yeah.
Or
grease,
shoe
a
wax.
grease.
Yeah,
Shoe wax.
I think is
Or for
more
the
what it
skis.
is, right?
It's the
Shoe
same,
wax.
yeah. It's a grease that is make the resin not sticking to the piece. So if you want to repair something and you don't want to damage the rest, you can put a lot of wax around it and it will be untouched. So basically for this reason, you would like to repair it. For the foil,
I just want last question for the mat. Then you would have to sand down quite a lot, right? Because
so
it will not fit into the fuselage if you put like, I don't know, that's 0.2 millimeters probably.
yeah. For example, let's say that all of this for any reason is gone. So
Yeah.
all of that is gone.
Okay.
I don't know, it breaks a lot, you know. If you want to make it perfect, you just put the wax in the fuselage box, and then you can put a bit of carbon here on the mast. You will fit it in the fuselage box, and when you remove it after a few hours, it will be very smooth.
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't really need to sand a lot, maybe just on the side. Okay.